All right, friends, we are ready to go with Super Meat Boy, run by Shredberg. Shredberg, take it away.
What's up, everybody? This is Super Meat Boy. This is Dark Ending. I think we can just go ahead and get started because there's it's a fast-paced game, but there's also a good amount of time in the run. So we'll get started on 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Yeah. So this is Super Meat Boy, run and jump platformer from 2010. I think that, especially back in the day, pretty synonymous with speedrunning. But as you'll see, you're really just going between these very quick levels, just getting to Meat Boy's girlfriend, Bandage Girl, at the end of each level, and that's how you complete it. You'll see me pause the game sometimes, and that is to do something called auto jump, and that lets me jump every single frame possible. And so that allows not only for you to do very precise movement, accurately, you're going to get every single time, but you can also climb up walls much faster. So you're going to see that all throughout the run. Another thing that allows is a thing called, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the name of it. I just forgot the name of a strat that I've been talking about for years. Whatever, I'll get back to it. I'll remember it in a bit. But oh my goodness, please. Here we're going to squeeze in between those saws. But yeah, this game is very, very fast in between the levels. The average time of a level takes like 5 seconds. Dark Ending has us complete all of these, which are called light levels right now. We need to beat it below an A+ time. So that's basically a dev decided time to get under. For a lot of these, they're extremely easy to get. It's not a concern for us at all, including these ones. One thing that we want to make sure to do is to beat 17 of these light levels to unlock the boss. So you can see there, we just unlocked the boss. But what we also need to do is beat, for Dark Ending, a total of 85 total dark levels, and that unlocks the Dark Ending boss. So what we need to do is, in each of these chapters, we need to route out not only the fastest way to get through the chapters in general, but we need to route it out to where we are playing through a total of 85 different dark levels. And the way this game is structured is it has 5 chapters of 20 levels, and then it has basically the final chapter, which has 5. Since you need 17 for the boss, 17 times 5 actually is 85. So what you could do is you could do 17 levels on the light side, 17 levels on the dark side, and move each chapter. But if you notice, I actually played 18 on this one, and it is because these dark levels can be much longer. In general, the light levels are much shorter and much easier. And the game gets much harder as time goes on. So it is much faster for us to play through 118 and 118X. That'll be coming up in just a few levels here, as those levels take like 3 seconds. So that's much better than playing like an 8-second level in the future. I just barely got that cycle. Oh my goodness gracious. But yeah, Forest is by far the easiest chapter in the game. Yeah, this is the 118, where it takes less than 3 seconds to do. And so with that, now we're going to play the boss. One thing that you can do is, people ask if you could beat the boss, then go back and beat the chapter again. This is a little slugger, by the way. It's an auto scroller. There's literally nothing to it. Just don't hit the obstacles. Like everything else, it's very straightforward. Sometimes you die on it and you feel really bad, but we got through it deathless this time. Let's go. But yeah, people ask if you could beat the boss, then go back and then do the dark ones. It's actually much slower. Not much, by like a second. It's notably slower. Because in general, you have to, once you go back in, you have basically a loading screen that you have to go through. So it's actually much faster to just do the mapping than have basically this screen pop up again. But yeah, as I was saying on beating the light levels, in general, you want to play the fastest levels. In a lot of chapters, that's going to end up being levels 1 through 17 of the 20, because exiting to map and then going back in is going to end up being slower than just playing the next level. unless you have, levels that are extremely long in the middle. And this chapter is an example of that, where we're actually going to skip a couple levels because especially the dark side levels are about 25 seconds. This game pretty notably has guest characters that have completely different physics and mechanics than Meat Boy. Meat Boy is a pretty, standard run and jump character, whereas, you'll have characters with a double jump, characters with a dash, all that kind of stuff. But we, unfortunately, in this, do not use anybody but Meat Boy. And some of the levels are pretty much designed for you to use some of those other characters to actually get through it quickly. And this chapter has a couple of them. Oh, really? Okay.
Sure thing. All right, chat. We will be back with you in just 1 second. We are making sure that the evil Dr. Fetus does not win against Mr. Meat Boy and the beautiful sounds of this game. So give us just a second and we will be right back with you. While we wait for tech to do their amazing work, I'd like to take a quick moment to talk about the effects of debt. Studies have shown that individuals who are in debt are more likely to experience depression and anxiety. Stress quickly becomes a factor and affects emotional, physical, and cognitive and behavioral wellness. This can impact one's quality of life and the quality of life of people around them. Now, we love LinearC. We want her to do well. So that's why we're here. We're here to help LinearC just deal with being a single mother right now. It's not easy. We really appreciate all the help that you got, that chat you have been giving us. I am so proud of all the work you've done, and I know we can do so much more. So if you want to help out even more than you already have, please put !donate in the chat or tell your friends to come and watch these amazing speedruns. And maybe, you never know, maybe they'll help out too. So even if you can't donate yourselves, tell your friends so they can come and enjoy the wonderful show we're putting on for all of you. If you yourself want to know more, you can put !LFL in the chat. You want to know the schedule of all the cool runs we have coming up? You can put !schedule in the chat. And by the way, there are cool things coming up indeed. We have the costume bid war for Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, where we have the clown still at $100, Mega Man at $51.02, and we have Riku, the giant fish person, at $5. If you want to change how that is, please put !donate in the chat to switch that up. And a reminder, if we hit $4,000, we have that special extra cutscene in Signalis. And 4,500 will add Resident Evil to the marathon. You don't want to miss that, chat. Come on. Put your donations in right now. I know you can all help us get these amazing incentives and games. All right, friends. I've heard the tech team has worked their mystical magic and we'll be ready to go very shortly. So don't change that dial. We'll be right back with Super Meat Boy. All right. And here we go. Let's beat Dr. Fetus with Super Meat Boy by Shredberg. Shredberg, it's all yours.
All right, so we're gonna head back into here. We were just in Light Hospital, still sort of the beginning of the run. A lot of levels like this are cycle based, so going back in from the map, what I wasn't expecting, I just wasn't holding down direction. But as I was saying, we are going to skip a couple levels here because this is the wrong level. There we go. This is what happens whenever. I am always very impressed when people like swap over from category to category, because my brain just like, if I'm not doing everything consistently always the same way, I will make mistakes. But anyways, we're gonna skip 2 levels out here. That way we skip 2 very, very long levels that would be on the dark side. So basically when we want to beat these, we're not just thinking of what the shortest levels are for, you know, the light side like we would in any percent. We're thinking just in general, what's the fastest way to get through 17 levels in general. And this route that I do, technically you could also do 19 levels in forest, and that would reduce even another level later on. That's probably about 15 seconds, but it's really not faster. Oh, that's skipping over. Don't want to do that one. As I was saying, we just want to do 17 levels per, and so that would be an extra level that we don't want to do. But yeah, as you can see, these dark levels are basically much more difficult versions of the light levels. Here we're kind of doing the first level backwards. This is a fun one because this level is like literally the same thing for both light and dark. You get to do the same exact strat. It's like the only level in the game where that is the case. But yeah, also each chapter is going to add in it's going to add in different mechanics. Hospital adds in these fans, which are pretty cool, but a little bit temperamental is kind of the wrong word, but they can be a little bit of a pain, especially later on. There's a level in sort of the bonus chapter Cotton Alley where it's like notoriously so 7-7. But one thing that you're going to see on this next level is I'm going to go off screen, and normally going off screen, you die once you're a certain point off. So we're just going to very carefully go over here and slide down. And so this skips a ton of the level. It's like a 15-second time save. And most levels, you're not able to do stuff like that because the way that it's designed basically has it to where it goes well beyond where the camera's facing. Uh-oh. All right, I got it. But on that level and then a few other ones, I think that they just did not intend for something like that to happen. They were like, okay, that's out of view of the camera. We're good. Should be fine. They probably did some testing, and for the most part, you're not able to get past it. You have to be very careful when you're going and doing that. Whoops. Here, you don't actually, oh, well, it would have been cooler if I actually did it, but you don't actually have to get on top there to grab some of those keys. The key hitboxes are actually pretty large. So there you are actually able to get it while just sliding up the wall, but I jumped off it a bit too quickly. And on this level, this is a fun one. There's a thing called storage, that was the strat that I was forgetting earlier, is called storage jump. But basically the position of Meat Boy is saved in between each level. Like there I ended the level on the ground. So on the very first frame, it assumes I'm on the ground. And that lets me like jump off of the air and stuff. And that'll be a little bit more clear in just a bit. But on that level, what that does is if you have storage at all, you will end up not beating, well, not all the time, but most of the time you won't beat that saw that I was jumped in front of. Dang it. Meaning that you're just gonna die. So you have to make sure you touch Bandage Girl while not on the ground. This game has a lot of very, for being very straightforward in terms of running and jumping, there's a lot of precision that's pretty known about, but there's also just some very niche things to help you save just a little bit of time on each level. Now we're going to the second boss. This one has a pretty decent like time save skip called Chad skip, because Chad's the name of the boss. So as I was saying earlier, where you can't go off screen too much, you just need to do a very precise jump to where you're not off screen too much. Grab this key while the screen is still scrolling up, and that means that you're not going to get what's essentially the second cycle of Chad. And it's just going to keep scrolling up. Normally it stops and Chad goes like back and forth, and you have to wait like 5-6 seconds and then it goes up again. But if you grab the key before the first scroll stops, you never go through that. And then you'll also notice that I took a second to grab that key. And if you don't, for whatever reason, Chad just takes longer to go across the screen at the very end. So that's like 3 seconds of time saved to wait 1 second to grab the key. And then here is where you can really see storage jump, where I jump like really off of the ground. And Meat Boy starts off of the ground every single level, but normally just a little bit. On 3-2 there, it's quite a bit, but it is very useful just in general to use. I'll even use it right here, which just lines up this strat perfectly. And it's using auto jump to make sure that you get it, because as I was explaining, it's only there for a single frame. You can do it not using auto jump, but it is frame perfect. But if you set up auto jump first, it is very consistent. I'm gonna go for a slide strat here. There we go. Let's go. That is a frame perfect skip. Normally when you jump off of something, you jump horizontally outwards, but if you jump on the very first frame, you come into contact with a wall and also have a very specific momentum. What you can do is actually slide up a wall. So there's a setup there that lets me slide up that conveyor, and normally what it wants you is to go on one side, then the other, and then to the end, but we're basically able to skip one of those conveyors. And it looks really cool, I think. We're going to skip 2, fortunately, auto scrollers on this one too, which is nice. This one's also nice because it has the same exact route as any %, so it makes it really easy to remember. It's actually kind of rare when they do have the same route as any %. I think it's only this and Rapture that has it. This is called mono skip. Here, where we're gonna not wait for the platform. The skips names in this are very easy because there are no names that are like based off of who found it or whatever. Whoops. It's basically all like level name skip, and that is basically it, which is very nice. But sometimes they'll go into other communities and they'll have like very specific names of stuff, and then, you know, those are very fun. But it's really easy to remember what level the skip is on when it's just named after the level. And then you might ask what happens if there's like a faster version of a skip that's found. Then it's just like fast whatever skip is the name of it. We're very unoriginal in the Super Meat Boy community. This is Dark Salt, and this is where I think the run starts to get actually really challenging. Not that it was not hard before, but this is where there's not only do the levels get pretty tough, but there's also, they get much longer, which means that each death is like extremely, you know, you lose a lot of time when you die because the levels are longer, which is a pain. And so you sort of want your deaths and mistakes to be, you know, very short. With how difficult this game is and how long this category is, getting a deathless dark ending run is not realistic at all. Nobody has done it. Nobody's really gone for it. It's just, that's not what the goal is. The goal is to go fast. If you don't die in a dark ending run, it probably just means that your strats are like a little bit too easy and you need to go faster. But getting deathless up until Dark Salt and a little bit beyond is pretty normal. But there's just a lot more precision that goes into some of these. I think one fun thing about speedrunning this game, if you've never played it, is that the speedruns do tend to make it look very easy. We get a second chance here of the slide strat. Let's see if we can get it. Let's go.
Yes.
2 for 2.
Since you said these are the harder parts, I'm going to read a quick donation for you so you can focus on those. We have $11 from a tea tree. Let's defeat that dastardly Dr. Weil for everlasting peace. Oh, and Dr. Fetus too, I guess. Donation goes to dress up as Mega Man for Dead Rising. And good luck, Shredberg.
Thank you. Yeah, really, I would say that pretty much the rest of the game is very, very difficult. There's, I guess, the last chapter in this game is kind of, relatively speaking, much easier, but it's just a difficult game. I think anyone who's played it knows that. That's a fun one there where you just jump off of those blocks very quickly. Here's a level that normally takes like 30 seconds, but we just try to do a fun little jump in between those, and it takes a second and a half. That one is like, I was talking earlier about where you want your deaths and mistakes to be short ones. On that one, it's like, you don't even consider a death on that level, compared to like, you know, there's levels where the most difficult part of the level is like 15 seconds in, and it feels like a pain. I believe it's the next level here that's like that. Yes, it is this one. This one is, I think, my least favorite of the Dark Salt levels. You don't have to get that bandage up there. The bandage is unlock bonus characters, which we don't actually want, but it's fun. All right, gotta do this precise jump. Okay. If you were just able to like slide in and go in between that like area, then it would be, whoa, dang it. It'd be really easy. Oh, that's right, I can't. I'll reset it up right here. I'm resetting up my storage jump. As you can see there, I just jump way in the middle of the air. If I don't do that, I just don't know what the strat is. I was talking about that slide earlier where I got those 2 slides. That is what can happen is you can get those or things similar to them when you do not mean to. And that means that, oh, yeah, that was too far to the left here. Okay, that one. There we go. There we go. That's fine. Oh, good. I got this little block here, which saves me from that other missile launcher doing it. We're here, the chapter 3 boss, and this one has the biggest boss skip of all. And I think the last boss skip. We're just going to go over to the side, do a what's called a sprint jump, and skip that whole boss. And a sprint jump, unlike what it sounds, you actually let go of sprint and then press sprint again. That's because when you have sprint held down, you actually jump off of the wall with a higher velocity. So if you can jump off of the wall without sprint held and then press it again, you will jump off with less speed, but your acceleration when you have sprint held is faster, so you go not as far off of the wall. And as I was explaining earlier, there's a death plane that's just outside of the camera view, and so that allows you to skip that entire boss. It's really nice. And now we're getting into, this is hell. This is accurately named. It is by far the hardest part of this run. This the light side of it, the dark side of it. Oh, whoops. And it really starts right here. Oh, dang, it was too low. This is Hex Skip. I think probably one of the more notorious ones for speedrunning, because it's like easy enough that this is one of the first like really, really hard skips that people will insert into their runs, but it is very precise. Normally I'm over jumping this. So under jumping twice? Are you for real? All right, let's get it this time, or else I'm gonna just not do it. Okay, cool. That's all you need to do is say it's your last time trying it, and then you'll get it. It's always the last attempt you go for. Get like a 2-level break before there's double rickets, which I think it sort of speaks for itself right here on why it's so difficult. Dang. You have to be really fast and really precise. All right, whoa, come on. I missed it. That's fine. Very difficult strat. But that is not where it ends. But those are the two most difficult parts of light hell, at least. What I think is one of the more can be frustrating parts is you'll do so well for the first like 10 or so levels, and then you'll have a death on one of like the later levels in hell, and they are really difficult levels, but because they are not to the same caliber and tier as Hex and Rickets, you almost feel like, oh dang, I just wasted a great attempt, when in reality it is extremely hard to do all of the stuff in here. These lasers are not actually active for the first like second of the level, which lets you do a pretty precise trick there. Oh my goodness. This level is the easiest level that I struggle on the most. It is a very precise strat, but I also do a very good job of making it look really hard. And this is probably the level that is the highest, like, it looks much harder than it actually is on 414. Like, if you have played this game before, you can probably do that, you know? Just try not to jump too high. If you just make sure you're not jumping too high, the worst case scenario, whoops, is you do not jump high enough and you just hit the edge of the block. But you can get it pretty consistently most of the time. All right, now we're into Dark Hell, and really starts out with a bang here. This is a really difficult strat. Trying to fall in between these two saw blades. Dang it. And I wish that falling in between these two saw blades was where it ended, but you got to jump off of that. That jump right there is really tight as well in between those two platforms. You have to jump like not just on the last block, but sort of on the second half of it. It's probably the most precise jump that is required in a casual like playthrough of a game, of the game, I should say. But it's one of those where I was saying earlier where there are other characters with different mechanics, and I do believe that they probably were designing that with most people are not going to try that with Meat Boy. It is much easier with a character that has a double jump or a dash, or, you know, basically any character that's not Meat Boy. This level is Dark Hex, but there is a way to do it fast enough to where you can do Hex Skip on the dark version, but it is extremely precise, so I generally don't go for it. And the same is going to be true of of Dark Hex. Here I need storage jump to do this, and as long as I don't touch the ground, yep, perfect. Normally you want to go inside there with all those saws, or not saws, but I don't know, obstacles in there, but I actually don't know how to do it that way. I have not done it that way in years. And then Dark Double Rickets is technically possible, but it is so difficult that it is not just too hard to do in like a full game run. It's very few people have actually done Dark Rickets. That is one of the most difficult Meat Boy strats to do, just in terms of ILs. It's very, very, very hard. Cool though, but it's very hard. I do think, fortunately, once you're into like right here, oh, I guess actually after the next level, it is when Dark Hell does get to be a little bit more chill. And especially the boss for this chapter is extremely chill. It's very nice, very consistent. Whoops. It is almost harder to die on it than it is to get Dark Double Rickets. But yeah, for the most part here, we're just going through it and trying to beam as quick as possible. A level like this I really like because there's these things, I think they're called maws, and so it looks like those are like right on the verge of hitting you, but no, it's like not even close as long as you're doing the same thing every single time, which can be really nice. Took a death there because I did not press the jump button. One of like the 2 buttons to press. I'm doing it too fast. There we go. Pressed it this time. And that's going to bring us to the boss. That's Little Horn. What we're going to do on this boss to make it so easy is we're just going to stand right here. We're going to jump 3 times, and that's going to be it. There's these like on fire Meat Boys that will fall from the sky, but they never fall here. So you're good. That's it. I'm going to jump 1 more time here, but it's a nice chill part of the run. Nothing really. It's like a minute long. Just taking a little break. I do really like it because, oh my gosh, I forgot to jump. I did die. Just to show you guys. Oh, whoop. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. We're gonna jump again. Yeah, you need to jump 3 times, and I jumped twice, and I thought it was my 3rd one. I lost count. I will show off a cool thing as well, since we're here for a 2nd time, and I'm gonna remember this time, where we're gonna pause and we're gonna do a basically what's normally a timer glitch. I don't know what to call it because you're not actually affecting the timer in this. But you're gonna, after he starts this animation, gonna pause and go to exit game and then cancel out. And it's just gonna finish that animation behind. But since you're paused, it's never looking for collision, so you're just gonna get through it every single time. But yeah, now it's gonna go for like 20 more seconds, and I can just stand here because I thought I was on the 3rd cycle before, but I was on the 2nd cycle. Counting to 3. Clearly not my strong suit. There we go. We're now on to Rapture. This is the last full chapter of the run. It is not as challenging as Hell, but it is challenging, and it's really where these levels get pretty long. This level, for example, is like, whoa, 13 seconds. Yeah, I just took a 13-second death. Love it. Those are the deaths you don't want to take. Again, you don't want to take any deaths, but, you know, that's... My gosh, dude. A lot of strange deaths today. Oh my gosh. Okay, normally you use auto jump there to like go off, and these gravity orbs that they have in that's sort of the mechanic that's added to Rapture, sort of pushes you back in, but I was a little bit down to, oh, whoops, that's fine. I've been doing Deathless 106. 106 is the full everything in the game. Been trying to get through it Deathless. No one else has ever done it. I've gotten through it in 3 deaths, which is the lowest that's been done. And in general, it's fine for me to not like mix the strats, because especially late in the game, it's different characters that I'm playing as. But that one I play as Meat Boy, so We grabbed an extra bandage, which is cool. You get a character every 10 bandages you get, which even if you like try your hardest, you're not gonna get it when doing dark ending. I guess you could if you tried your hardest and just went out of your way, but you can't do it by not going that much out of your way. You'd have to waste like an entire 30 seconds or so to do it. Gonna skip a level there and go into Abomination, where there's these zombie meat boys that are back and they chase you. They're a little bit of RNG on there, so that jump off of the wall is a little bit of RNG manipulation to get that one that was on the far left to basically go underneath, because they can jump at you, and if they jump from the other side of the wall, then you have to wait for it to do its thing. So just doing a little bit of like a quarter-second time loss can make it very consistent. Precise little jump in between those saws. There's these warp zones as well, and so those are bonus levels. Here is the only place where you can accidentally go into one. That has happened to... I feel like if you have not had that happen to you in a run and you speedrun this game, you just haven't run long enough. Because it really does happen to everybody. It's... The hitboxes for a lot of the things in this game are bigger than they look. I guess at least for things where you need to touch them. Not for enemies. Those are actually surprisingly pretty nice. They're smaller than you would think. But yeah, that warp zone entry area is, whoa, a little bit bigger than you would think. So sometimes people clearly never meet, but sometimes people will, you know, fly too close to the sun. And we get to end this one here with a little auto scroller. And since before, if you remember back, you know, whatever it was 30 minutes ago, we did 18 levels in dark forest. So that means, and so far we need 85 in total. That's 17 for each of these first 5 chapters, but that means we're actually one ahead of that pace. So we're gonna skip a level in here. Here's a fun skip right here. I actually use controller for like my entire run, except for that specific part of the skip. For whatever reason, I find it a little bit easier to just press the button twice in a row on keyboard. It's a very precise double jump. You need to be a very specific height off of that wall. So it's like a 2-ish frame window. Oh my gosh. Here you just want to do a quick little turnaround. My turnarounds have been too slow or too late. Right now we're going to Goldilocks this thing. I said earlier too, you can do 19 levels in Forest, and it's to skip this level right here, which isn't too bad, but it is... it is difficult. It is really hard, but the thing is that with the time that I got on the level there, it's probably just as fast as doing 1 through 19 in Forest. But those forest skips that you have to do on those levels can be pretty tough. So I think at a high enough level, it's... even at a low enough level, it's probably worth it to just do 5-3x, but 5-3x is definitely like a top 5 most difficult casual level. So when people get into this, even if they've ran 90% for a bit, they'll have some trouble with 5-3x. Oh, whoops. In the light version, you go down so you can skip a button, but you actually need to grab the top button there. And I need to constantly remind myself that. Doesn't matter how long I have ran this category. There I use storage jump to jump off of a wall. When you jump off a wall, you immediately get full speed in that direction. So help me save 0.2 seconds. And then as you can see, I skipped 5-9x Rapture level 9. That's like a 24-second level. So it is very much worth skipping. And it is the reason, again, why we do basically an extra 6-7 seconds in Forest, is to skip 25 seconds. So that saves you 18-19 seconds overall to do that instead of 5, 9. A lot of levels in this chapter are extremely long. At least extremely long by Meat Boy standards. I guess most platformers have like, I don't know, a minute or two long levels. But with this game, extremely long is like 20 seconds. Okay, we are almost out of it. Just a few to go. This level here is one where it's there's like difficulty to scariness, and this is probably the scariest level that is not really all that bad, but scares me a lot. So that one's probably like at the top when it comes to that. Cool, and this is probably where the difficulty of this chapter ends, because the ending of this is pretty straightforward, but it lets me talk about the boss coming up, which is basically just all RNG. We're going to do something where we're going to get behind it, but it's Larry. There's 3 worms. They all act sort of dependently on each other, but on this first cycle, they have a 50% chance of jumping, and so what I want to do is do this pause in between. It's like what I showed on Littlehorn, where I'm going to let them finish out their animation. There they all, only one of them jumped, but when I do that, what happens is I separate those. So it puts them in 2 different packs. And basically what happens is when no worms are dead, there's a 50% chance it jumps, but it checks to see if any of them are dead yet before it pops up this cloud. So if it's a dark cloud, that means that there's a 50% chance it jumps. If there's a light cloud, that means it'll never jump. On the first cycle, it's actually, if it has a dark cloud, it always jumps. So what we want is to pause and get 2 dark clouds and 2 jump on the first cycle. It'll help save a lot of time. If you don't pause, only one of them can potentially jump, and it being 50%. So this could be confusing if you've never played this boss before, but essentially you're trying to increase your the odds each time it wants to jump. Right here, we're having a bad Larry. This is not good RNG. What you want is a 2 cycle, which takes about 10 seconds. This one is pretty bad. I had one earlier that was like 1 minute and 40 seconds, which is awful. The longest I ever got was 3 minutes, and that's like a 1 in like 50,000 chance of getting it. Even getting like a minute long is like 1 in 100. It's pretty rare. Maybe not that bad, but basically that boss can just decide to kill your runs. There's just no other way around it, and it's at like the very end. So you know, you can try to pause and get it, and it does help your RNG to try to you know, get 2 to jump on the first cycle and all that stuff. But very rare for that to happen. It's like a 10% chance. So you can basically think about it as 1 in 10 runs are not going to have the best RNG. And then if you think like a 3 cycle, that would be basically only 1 chance that the worm doesn't jump. That's about a 25% chance of happening. And then 4 cycles, like 30 something. And the median amount is like, it's like 5 or 6, which 5 I think is what I have in my dark ending PB. Like that's fine for this category because it is so long, but it is unfortunate time loss. And this is the end. It's only 5 levels. Unlike all of the other chapters where you can select which ones you play through, to unlock the boss, you actually have to beat all 5 of these levels. So it's the only level, or the only chapter, where you do not have any sort of say over what you decide to do. You just got to do them all. Doing a key skip there. We're just going to go below a platform. And then we're on to, we're going to do the final boss 2 times in a row. And the final boss is, it's 2 parts. The first part is an auto scroller. The second part is, you know, just like any level, we'll try to get through it as fast as possible. I do try to get to the end here. Maybe not as fast as possible, but kind of. What's interesting here is that basically everybody does it their own different way. In getting it through, since it doesn't matter how fast you do it, you do get a lot of variety, and it doesn't matter. One thing as well is you'll notice that those saw blades are going to pass by Meat Boy, and you might be like, wait, aren't you going to die? No. When you're standing on top of a button, you have invincibility, so it lets you do this. And it's actually much faster. So on top of, it being nice and chill, you actually make sure that Dr. Fetus falls down a pit as quickly as possible. So on top of everything. Whoa. All right, we're good. So going to trigger the first end credits there by jumping off of the side. Basically, the credits boundary is very large. Normally you're going to go to the right there and do like a second, some more platforming, but you're just able to reach it there at the very end. My understanding is the devs did know about that before release, but they were like, yeah, whatever. There's a lot, I think, more prescient things for them. There's a bit of a time rush on it. If you've never seen Indie Game the movie, this game is one of the 3 games featured along with Fez and Braid. And I think that this was probably one of the more fun parts of the movie is the development of this game, but it does really talk about how much of a time crunch they were in this game. So I think that was something where if they had more time, they probably would have taken that away, but it's nice for speedrunning, saves like 10 seconds. And same thing on here. The escape part of it is a little bit harder, just like all of the dark levels, but time's going to come up in like 20 seconds here. We're going to end on the same sort of credits break as the light version of it. I think the hardest part here is this middle part, since it's got that spinning saw blade like right in the exact wrong place. Oh my god. All right, whatever. Second time where I died just not pressing the jump button. It happens. Gotta make sure to not hit these. There we go. That one's more frustrating than the other one because there's like so much time to press it, and that's gonna be time. And that's dark ending. Dark ending gives you like bonus credits, but really at the end of the day, it's really the fun part of that run is just getting to play the dark side versions of those levels and it being fun. But yeah, thanks for having me. Go follow me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/shredberg. Stick around for all the other runs that are going there, a bunch of bangers, and make sure to donate. And thanks for having me.
All right, that was one amazing run of Super Meat Boy. Utterly amazing. I am so impressed by any respect for those of things of doing. That is my last moment here. Chat. But fear not. The incredibly wonderful and encouraging and just an awesome person to hang out with, Iggy Zig, is going to come and keep all of you company. So please give him a warm welcome for me. Hello, Iggy Zig. The mic is yours.
Doodle, so sweet, so neat, and an amazing host to boot. Everybody, let's pop up and chat one more time about Doodleplex here. Give it up. Let's go. Come on. There we go. There we go. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Salutations and warmest greetings, and what is up with it, y'all? You are watching Lifeline for Linear, a mutual aid marathon raising money for fellow speedrunner LinearC. We have been hashtag here together for 5 phenomenal days of speedruns in her support. I am your host, Iggy Zig, and I'm inviting you to come along and ride on a fantastic voyage for the next 4 hours and change or so. And this train that we're on right now, it is making stops in Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, Dementium 2 HD, Signalis, along with its artifact-ending milestone incentive of $4,000 in total donations and all of its lesbian goodness therein, as well as Little Nightmares 2, with that train arriving later tonight in its final stop in Raccoon City. Oh yeah, that's right. We are on the Resident Evil 2 remake train, looking to get Zozo in to run that epic game once we reach $4,500 in total donations. Come aboard and punch your ticket. The cost is whatever you want it to be in your generous donation. Exclamation donate in chat. Let's go. But I would love to see the number 2 in that amount. You know, for RE2. $1.02, $1.22, $2.22, $10.02, $20, $200 if you're feeling spicy. Any price is right with your fantastic donation. Get creative with your generosity. All aboard for LinearC. Let's do it. Oh, and did I mention that Zozo is going to be packing a rocket launcher? It is the final night of this incredible event, y'all. Exclamation donate in chat one more time, and let's have a blast. Let's go. As we set up for Juho's run of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, just want to let you know there is a scant few minutes remaining to get in bids for that Costa bid war. Who's Juho going to be playing as? Mega Man, super fighting robot, here fighting to save the world, maybe? Rikuo, big old fish dude? Ken from Street Fighter? Are we going to see some Tetsumaki Senpikyaku? We're going to see Nemesis? Do you want to see stars? You want to see some stars? No. Winning right now and by an absolute tear is an absolutely terrifying clown. Thank you so much, chat. I'm very excited to witness the clown. It's going to be great. Again, if you want to go and exclamation donate in chat to go ahead and get those donations in, put it towards that bid war incentive, which we're going to be wrapping up in just a second here. Try to get something other than a clown, please, to maybe do some fun stuff in Dead Rising Remaster. I mean, it's okay if you want to have a horrifying clown. It's just fine. It's fine. I'm fine with it. Totally normal like clowns. But yeah, go ahead and get those donations in again to get this RE2 remake train going on and feeling strong. Let's go, everybody. Let's do it. And as we're hearing these solid stone cold jams, I want to take a little bit of time to remember why we're here and why we're doing what we do. Lifeline for Linear is a mutual aid marathon, raising money for fellow speedrunner LinearC. For Wednesday, February 28th to this final night, Sunday the 23rd, we've been excited to showcase 5 days of action-packed speedruns for her benefit. For the full schedule, type !schedule in chat. And if you want to donate, once again, type in !donate in chat. Don't be scared. It's a really cool command. Thank you so much. By the way, chat, I love you. Stay cute. I think it worked.